just like you, I get hundreds of emails a day, and I read messages online from people in my various chat rooms and so forth. And one of the worst, and I don't even think they don't even call themselves prophetic voices, but one of the worst that for some reason is gaining huge traction is this Charlie Ward and Simon Parks videos. They are everywhere, and they are exactly what you're describing. It's misinformation, disinformation designed to tell people what they want to hear and tickle their ears. But it's dangerous, Mark. People send me these links and they tell me I need to read them and I need to post them. And I'm not posting those. No. I will not post those, but they're popular.
Yeah. Look, I get emails every day. Listen to this prophetic person. Listen to this prophetic word. It's like, time out. No, I don't listen to other prophetic people because I don't want to be swayed or biased in one direction or the other. I want to listen to my source, Jesus, who is the spirit of prophecy, period. So it's like when people send me stuff, oh, you need to listen to this. I get so many emails. It's like, guys, just stop sending me that stuff, please. I don't listen to other people's stuff. I don't want to. And it's not that I'm being mean, but here's the thing. Kim Clement taught on us years ago before he died. And he said, if you receive a prophetic word that's not Holy Spirit inspired, it opens the door to the spirit of Pythos, which comes in and suffocates. So people are so quick. Oh, did you hear this anointed word? And they don't even test anything. Like they don't even find out who the person is, who's behind the person. Are they under an alias? Why are they under an alias? If they're under an alias, it's not a good sign, guys. One, it's probably for marketing, if that's the case. Two, if they say, oh, well, God gave me that name. Well, that's pretty a common name here. God's not going to give you just a common name. When God gives you a name, like in Revelation, he says, I will give you a new name. I will write it on a rock, and it will only be known to you. In other words, God will give you the interpretation to the name, or you're going to have to search it out and look it up. When God gave me my new name, and when he came to me in that vision, he called me Shekinah Kami. I had no clue what that meant. Literally, he didn't give me the interpretation, so I had to go look it up. That's the point. If they're under an alias, it's for marketing, which is not good, period. Two, they're lying to you, saying that God gave them this, or if it's a very common name or whatever it is, because God's, again, it will be only known to you. That's scriptural. Or three, they're a Luciferian infiltrating, because that's what Luciferians do. They don't want you knowing their bloodline. They don't want you knowing who you are, who they are. It's 90% of Congress, 90% of Congress is under an alias. Why? Because they're Luciferian. They don't want you knowing their bloodline. The same things happening in the churches, the prophetic, all across the board, guys. We have to understand the MK Ultra stuff. I've learned a lot from Gina, my friend Gina. I was telling you about the MK Ultra counselor. She says, Mark, they're doing it in preschools. They're doing it as infants. They're doing it at elementary, junior high, high school, churches, seminaries. They're MK Ultraing people. And when you look at this, she says the technology they have to do this with is light years beyond anything we've ever seen, period. She said in 1 hour, they can fragment you into 100 pieces. And each one is a computer program that's running, and it's separated by a dissociative amnesic wall. So you could have someone serving Christ at night, but the other 99 pieces are running for Satan during the day, and they won't even know it.
Yeah.
And the problem is this, and I asked her one day, I said, Gina, look, there are some people that know the Bible way too well. And because look, God bless you if you got those kind of memorization skills, because I don't. You know what I mean? I'm not a theologian. I'm not a scholar. I don't claim to be. But I says, can they download the Bible into you, MK Ultra? She said, Mark, that's the first thing they do. And I went, whoa.
Wow.
That should scare every individual under the sound of my voice. If this one interview doesn't do anything else, brother, but teach your people to start searching out who is who and who they are and what they are, I pray that this does so.
This is why we love having you on, Mark. This is good stuff. Now, before I lose track of it, you got to go back a couple minutes and tell us what that name means that you told us for you.
It means beautiful one whose desires are fulfilled.
Wow.
In short.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. So see, Mark, it's not going to be like he gave me the name Mike. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, it could be, but I mean, look, it's very rare, guys. God's going to give you something that's personal to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Because this is not religion. It's a personal relationship with Christ. God hates religion, by the way. He's not into religion. He's into relationship. So
Right.
when he does, it's going to be personal to you, the individual.
Mark, I heard you say something in a different interview recently, and you'll have to do a better job than I can of summarizing it. But when you talk about testing these voices and not listening to just everybody you hear that comes out and says, I have a prophetic word, I think you said something about one thing that's a dead giveaway, or one thing to watch for, is the people who are always talking about something that's going to happen next week or next month or whatever.
Yes.
Look at the people that have a history of things, and sometimes
Yes.
they're multi-years. You know, I mentioned Hank
Right.
Kunneman earlier. He started
Right.
talking about a president from New York back right after 9/11. I mean, this
Right.
is a 20-year thing he's been carrying. You look at Kim Clement. A lot of his stuff, people are going back and watching those videos now and realizing those are for now, and that was, you know, maybe 6, 8, 10 years in the future at that time. Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And what has ruined that are these things right here. Is the
Mhm.
information that we have at our fingertips. We live in a microwave society. We want it right now. And when it doesn't happen right now, it's false. I had a guy send me an email one time when I wrote The Evil Crew of 32. And he says, it's been 4 months. Your prophecy hasn't come to pass. You're a false prophet. And that's a false word. It's like, wow, dude, seriously? It's like, we got prophecies in the Bible that still haven't come to pass. I don't hear you calling them false. So when you look at people that have a history, look, it's easy to prophesy a current event, because here's the other thing that's happening. There are people out there with intel contacts that are getting the intel from their contacts, and they're prophesying it. So it's like, you know, when you prophesy anybody can prophesy current events, guys. Give me a break. You know what I mean? It's like they'll prophesy something, and you'll see this. It'll come to pass within a week or two. That's a current event. When you see this over and over and over again, that's a red flag. Period.
Yep.
It's when the prophet or the prophetic voice prophesies something years in advance that he now has to stand on it. Just like the Trump prophecy was in 2011. Well, he didn't become president until 2016. And I got hammered for it. You know what I mean? And so it's when the prophet or the prophetic voice has to take those fiery arrows in maturity, and he prophesies something years in advance that they have to stand on it. So it's that's the difference. When you start seeing people that after the other, and it's a current event, it's like, well, we just read this 2 weeks ago in the newspaper. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a dead giveaway. So those are some of the things that you can look for. There was something else now, it just left me here. Lord, bring it back. And so, but I mean, it's those types of prophecies that's over and over and over again that people should start to question. What is vague. Thank you, Lord. So it's vague prophecies. In other words, you prophesy something like, well, you know, watch this state.
Mm-hmm.
What about the state? What about it?
Sure.
So any headline that comes out about the state apparently is going to be your prophetic word. So now you look like the hero when it comes out. Those are the types of games that God's done with. And I've got 2 prophetic words here that I can go into here that God's addressing this mess, because again, the prophetic has become the pathetic, and God's cleaning it up. And now you have to also understand that there is a true deep state church out there. Another sign to look for is that we're all getting canceled off these platforms. I've lost my YouTube channel. I've lost 60,000 people off Twitter. My tweets aren't going anywhere. I'm getting censored something fierce. Even the interviews that I do that get released are getting censored something fierce. Ask yourself this question. How in the world do some of these prophetic voices, some of these preachers, teachers, and evangelists, how are they increasing in numbers right now in an age when everyone's getting deplatformed and they're making money hand over fist? You have to ask yourself these tough questions. It's because they're being propped up by the deep state somehow, somewhere, period. That's the only way that they can do it. When you type in a name on a search engine and they come up number 2 on the search engine, and you've never typed their name in before, that should be a red flag. This is how the deep state infiltrates. They've infiltrated our seminaries. They've infiltrated our pulpits. They've infiltrated our congregations. It's everywhere right now.